The urbanization and condensing of American society has done much to change the culture of this nation in many ways. So, what effect has it had? Well, the answer is not black and white here. As you alluded to in your question, there are valid arguments to be made if America has transitioned more towards an individual or collective society. This is not a question of one or the other, but possibly a combination of the both, as you guys have already stated in your responses. America, up until the urbanization of society, had clung to the idea of the so-called American dream. This dream was, in other words, a desire to make you and your family's lives as good as possible through hard work and integrity. So this concept is an obvious example of an individualistic mindset. This means that the country was built on and grown on the idea that maximizing yourself is the ultimate goal for not only you, but everyone else in the country too. Urbanization and the spreading of the consumer culture started to disrupt this traditionalism in the 20s. People were now consuming similar forms of entertainment and purchasing similar products, meaning that influences on the individual were nationalized in a sense. When you think logically about what that means, it would seem that the once individualistic society may have been evolving in a more collective manner. With that said, I would argue that the threat of change to collectivism only entrenched the traditionalists in America who hated the idea of losing individual desires and mindsets. Many Americans vehemently countered this trend by trending towards an even more individualistic mindset. My evidence of this is the indoctrination of the concept of capitalism in all aspects of American society. We've been taught to this day that capitalism fuels success in this nation. While this can be true, I do not think that is the only path to success in America. Additionally, even mentioning the word socialism in this country will induce severe judgment on yourself. The idea of socialism beliefs in a completely collective society where all people have access to nationalized industries such as healthcare. I am personally biased towards these socialist ideas because I think they produce a much more equal society, but Americans in general retort by saying that socialism takes away some of your personal freedoms. This means that if Americans are fixated on this idea of personal freedom, then the nation still permeates an individualistic perspective to this day and in the 20s. I do not think urbanization changed American society in any sort of dramatic way in terms of individualism. I think it would take some sort of dramatic, unforeseen circumstance for America to ever abandon their desire to maximize the self before the whole, because this nation has always been enamored with the idea of the American dream. For the second question, this was kind of a two-parter question. So to answer the last question first, I would strongly disagree that America has eased generational differences with technology and modern media. These new concepts like innovative technology has only ostracized the older generations in America who do not connect well with and understand technology-based concepts and modern media. These older Americans do not consume media as younger counterparts do. They're one of the only reasons that print media even exists to this day in America. Older generations also use media at like laptops and your smartphones even. They use this technology at a much lower rate than younger generations like mine. So beyond technology and related media modernization, what kind of other generational differences are prevalent? Well, younger generations are much more focused on climate change and the environment as a concern compared to older Americans. This has created a major rift in society right now, and there does not seem to be an end in sight because policymakers are predominantly older, meaning that older people are regularly making decisions for the younger generations who fundamentally disagree about major issues like climate change and even things like abortion. Younger generations in America also are marrying less frequently and at a much later time in life, which creates a difference between parents and children. These differences in values create tension through misunderstandings and misconceptions. People are almost always going to favor their generations over others. That is just human nature. Because of these generational differences in values and beliefs, the American society is always evolving and progressing, which makes each generation different from the last. We are living in a nation currently with up to 5 different generations of active people, which is a lot of volatility in how society acts. It is only natural that all of these differences will create tensions through disagreements on fundamental issues like the environment and disagreements of values like when one should marry and have kids. This diverse group of people in society should be viewed as a good thing because it is what truly embodies the essence of America as a nation constantly diversifying more than the past.